everyone, and welcome to Online Chairs Academic Training. I will tell you more about committee work structure, analyze each part of it, and tell you which methods you can use to ensure the most efficient use of your time and resources. So, once you successfully completed team building and you're sure that your committee works as a single team, it's time to start one of the most meaningful parts of the session, committee work. Each chairperson structures his or her committee work in a different way. It also depends on whether you chair alone or together with someone else. But there is a very general framework that is observed by 99% of chairs, which can be later on enriched by your own methods, amendments, and alterations. So each committee work starts with transition phase or get started phase. As your delegates have just finished having fun together, it would be too cruel to make them brainstorm on the topic right away. So there are several ways which help you to best switch to committee work from team building. First of all, you can write golden rules. And you should remember that if your delegates already work nicely together and respect each other, writing golden rules may be a bad idea. So if you have such situation, just offer them the rules, but never force to do it. So your delegates need to have this desire to write the golden rules, and they need to have the need to write those, first of all. Second, what you can do is to decorate the room. You can do that with something that organizers will bring you, or you can also ask delegates to bring some decorations to the session in advance. The next way is expressing fears and expectations, where all the delegates share their ideas about the session. They say what they want to achieve at the session and what fears they have about the session. Me personally, if I do this way of transition, I just ask each delegate to come up with 1 minute presentation of their fears and expectations, and then just tell it to everybody else. Next way is to play time games, which make them understand that time is quite limited during committee work. That's why they need to work very efficient to use this time wisely. So you can either play the game count from 1 to 30, one by one with eyes closed, which is all the delegates sit in a circle and with their eyes closed, and they need to count from 1 to 30, one by one. So for example, I say 1, he says 2, and so on and so forth. And if they fail to count from 1 to 30, they start over and over and over. And actually, they are very, very, very happy if they complete this task, especially from the first time. But I witnessed it only once. The next game is sit with closed eyes for 1 minute. You just have all the delegates sitting, you have the timer, and the task of the delegates is open their eyes when they think that a minute has passed. Experience shows that some delegates open their eyes at 45 seconds, some at minute 15 seconds. It very much depends on the delegate. Counting basically never works, and then delegates understand that time is different for all of them, and that they need to look at each other and remind about time to each other, and it's very, very useful during committee work. You can also play some brainstorming games, for example, Shoe Factory, when you tell delegates a story that there was a shoe factory which produced 1,000 left shoes, and now they need to do something with these shoes. And delegates need to come up with as many ways as possible to get rid of these shoes. And you can also play 50 ways of using an object, when you're giving to your delegates just some random object, and they, one by one, tell you one way how they can use this object. Actually, this will literally turn on their brains and make them more efficient during early stages of committee work. And the other method is blind voting. You can ask your delegates how much they think they are prepared for the topic, how sure they feel about the session at all, and etc. So basically, you ask any questions you like, and this also helps them to switch from team building to committee work. The next phase of committee work is topic understanding phase, which includes topic definition and knowledge sharing. You can first do topic definition and then knowledge sharing, or vice versa. It doesn't really matter. Each chair does it in his or her own way. Okay, we'll generally talk about topic definition and knowledge sharing. So topic definition, I personally know two ways of doing it. It's writing and underlining and writing and post-its. So write and underline is when you write the topic on a flip chart, then you ask delegates to outline the most important words and words combination, and you underline those. And then you ask delegates to choose three most important words or words combination. Basically, it helps them to concentrate on the topic and understand the topic in a better way. Besides, it helps to make sure that you will cover all the aspects of the topic in your resolution. The other way, which I had tried, is writing the topic word by word on a separate post-its, and then ask delegates to put the words in a correct order to make up a topic. Afterwards, you just repeat the method with underlining keywords, but this way it makes topic definition a little bit harder for them. Next, very important part of topic understanding phase is knowledge sharing. You can use many different ways to do the knowledge sharing, and the knowledge sharing part is important because before starting actual brainstorming, you need to make sure that all the delegates are on the same page and that they are ready to talk about problems. There are many ways of knowledge sharing. I will underline like the most popular ones. First of all, it's reading the topic overviews. You need to ask your delegates if they read the topic overviews at all. If there are some people who haven't, then you just give them some time and they need to look through the topic overviews and see what problems were outlined there. The next way is explaining as 5-year-old. You ask one delegate to come to the middle and in 1 minute explain the topic in a way as a 5-year-old child understands it. Afterwards, other delegates are welcome to ask some questions, and delegates do it one by one. Or you can also split them into couples to deal with this task. And the basic idea is that it simplifies the topic and it makes it much more understandable to all the delegates. The third way is writing what you don't know about the topic. You ask each delegate to take 2 pieces of paper, and on one paper they need to write brief statements on what they know about the topic, and on the other side what they don't know. Then delegates stick these papers on the back and front and mingle around, explaining to others what they know and trying to find the answers to their questions. Other way is speed dating. Probably all of you know about it. You make 2 lines of delegates facing each other and give them a minute to talk about the topic. Then they switch in a way that every time they talk to different people. You can also drop in different questions on the topic to speed dating, which makes it much more interesting and much more useful. Last way is writing on flip charts. You simply divide delegates into pairs and ask them to write on flip charts everything that they know about the topic and then present it to others. This method is good because you can later on hang these flip charts on the walls, and if the delegates forget something or don't know something, they can address these flip charts. What you need to remember about all these methods is that you are free to choose any method you like, and you can come up with some more methods. You need to remember that the aim of knowledge sharing is to make sure that all the delegates are on the same page, and they this way you will avoid a situation that during committee work one delegate talks a lot and the other delegate is silent because he or she doesn't know that much about the topic. And you also need to remember that at this stage, they're only discussing facts. They are not discussing problems, they are not discussing solutions, just facts that they know about the topic. And here we come to the next part, which is brainstorming. This is a part of committee work where we start generating our introductory and operative clauses. There are very many different ways of brainstorming, and you will see a separate video on it. I just will mention some general ways. First of all, you need to understand if your brainstorming is qualitative or quantitative. If it's quality, you need to ask delegates to write 3-5 really good, in their opinion, ideas, one idea per post-it, and then present these ideas to others. If it's quantity, you ask them to write as many ideas as possible within a limited amount of time, even if some ideas will be not too good. You can make some kind of post-it competition or ask delegates jump until they come up with a certain amount of ideas. You can be as creative as possible, basically. So like the general facts about qualitative brainstorming is that it's like 3-5 ideas, one idea per post-it. You need to have strict time limits, and these must be clever ideas, and delegates are allowed to do some research during this brainstorming. Talking about quantitative brainstorming, these are as many ideas as possible, as quickly as possible, one idea per post-it again. These can be both clever and stupid ideas, and you can have some kind of creative approach to this brainstorming. The other thing that you need to think about is whether you are brainstorming problems, solutions, or both. You can, for example, brainstorm problems, then solutions, or there can be a mixture which you will later on divide with the delegates. Or you can brainstorm problems and finish committee work cycle with those, and then start brainstorming solutions. That's totally up to you. The only thing that you need to remember is time. Make sure that you will have enough time for finishing brainstorming if you divide it in several stages. The next part of committee work is grouping. Once you're done with brainstorming or its part, you can move on to grouping. Grouping is especially important if you had quantity brainstorming, as it will allow to cut not suitable ideas. Usually you do it on a flip chart. There are many different ways of grouping, and they can also be amended according to your topic. So first of all, it's problems, solutions, and facts. It's just when you divide flip chart into 3 parts. In one part you have problems, in other solutions, in third part facts. Or it can be bank, hospital, graveyard, where you have the most valuable ideas in the bank, ideas that can be included in the resolution but should be amended in the hospital, and graveyard are absolutely useless ideas. It can be ROSA, reality, objectives, solutions, actions, SLEEP TM, social, legal, economic, environmental, political, technical, and moral. SPERM, which is social, political, economic, religious, and moral. And it can also be divided according to the aspects of your topic. For example, when I was sharing AMPL, I had educators, employers, and youth, and my delegates divided ideas according to these 3 categories. There is also a very popular geek method, when, for example, you have 8 delegates who have 5 ideas each. You make pairs of these delegates, and they need to come up with the 5 most valuable ideas out of these 10, and then you pair these couples, and they need to come up with 5 most valuable ideas within their group, and finally you come up with 10 ideas instead of 40. This method is very good when you have a quantity brainstorming. However, you need to remember that during this grouping method, some good ideas may be cut out if, for example, these 2 delegates had some very, very nice ideas and they need just to choose 5. 2 other valuable ideas will be just left out. The thing that you really need to remember during grouping is that you have limited amount of time. Usually delegates tend to start discussions during grouping. You should not allow it and insist that they have enough discussing on the next stage, unless you use another CV structure for this. Once you have problems and solutions brainstormed, you move on to discussing what you have. One by one, you discuss the brainstormed ideas and write down the developed versions. It seems to be easy. However, it's not that easy. There is a number of problems that you can encounter on this stage. It's first of all low interest of people. It can be solved by assigning special roles to delegates that are not that much interested. It's of course interruption of other delegates. For solving this problem, you can use a talking ball when only a person which holds a ball can talk, or talking checks when you just give to each delegate a limited amount times when they can speak, and once they used this amount of times, they can't speak anymore. However, of course, then they can sell these checks between themselves and so on and so forth. But it sufficiently improves the quality of the discussion. And you can also face a problem that not everyone is included. To solve this problem, you can use a web of interaction when you just draw some dots on the blackboard or on the flip chart, which symbolize your delegates. And once one delegate is speaking, you just put your marker in his or her dot, and then you move this. You just draw the lines between the delegates that are speaking. Like at the end, you will come up with the fact that some delegates are speaking really much and some delegates are rarely speaking, and these delegates will be interested themselves in starting speaking because they will see that they are not that included. And of course, delegates can go off topic. You need to see if they speak on the topic, and if you hear that they are talking about something else, you need to get them back to the topic. For this, you can also use golden rules. Most likely, your delegates will write not going off topic in the golden rules. And as a chair, you're not supposed to interrupt the discussions and influence chairs' opinions. You're not influencing the solutions that delegates come up with, but this doesn't mean that you're not listening to them. You listen, and if you hear that delegates misinterpret some fact or make some mistake regarding the functions of some official bodies, you can interfere and correct them. You can also provide them with factual information if you hear that they need some. You have to get the delegates back to track if they are off topic and remind them about time. Your ultimate goal is to have enough problems and solutions by the end of the discussion round. About discussing, you need to also remember, just as in brainstorming, you can discuss first problems, then solutions, or you can discuss problem, solution, problem, solution. It also depends on the structure that you're using during committee work. The next stage of committee work is phrasing. You can start phrasing once you are finished with discussing the ideas. In most cases, you will be provided with a list of introductory and operative clauses by the organizers, but if not, you can easily find these lists online. The goal is to phrase fancy sentences which you will later on use in the resolution, and the better you do it at this stage, the less work you will have during resotyping and the more sleep you will get during the last night. You can split delegates into pairs for phrasing, or they can do it all together. That's totally up to you. You just need to remind delegates that each operative clause needs to have an introductory clause behind it. So you can have one introductory clause and several operative clauses for this introductory clause, but it never happens that you have an operative clause without having an introductory clause. You need to remember that we are not creating new institutions. All the institutions already exist, and if you hear that delegates wants to come up with a new institution, you need to encourage them to make some more research on it, because most likely there is already an institution which performs these functions. It just performs those not in a proper way. You don't care about money unless you're econ committee. What I mean by this point is that we don't care where money comes from, but of course we care about the amounts. These amounts must be quite reasonable, and each OC needs to answer 4 questions: what, who, when, and how. When can sometimes, but not always, be omitted. And right now I will tell you several words about an alternative CV structure that I use in my work. I started my chairing career at a very interesting session which lasted 2 days, and at the GA in total we had 16 people out of 49 that came on the first day. Proud to say that 6 of those were mine. And due to a very, very big lack of time, we introduced one more stage to CV, which was clarification. And afterwards I amended it a bit, and I'm still using it at the sessions. So far it worked very well and proved to be very effective and time-saving. So it works as following. After grouping stage, I provide delegates with a flip chart, which looks basically like this. Here we have several sections. Problems, which explains the problem that we brainstormed before that. It's answers to the main questions: who, what, how, and when. Who includes the institution that will take care of the implementation of the solution. What includes the solution itself. How includes what actions we do for implementing the solutions, and when or within what time we want to do it, included in this section. And there is also the last one, which is facts. These are just random facts or statistics that relate to this problem. They can later on be used for ICs. It's up to you if you want to try it or not, but like it's very, very nice, I believe. So you're welcome to try it if you want, and if you need any clarifications on it, you're welcome to address me. The next and a very important stage of committee work is GA preparation. After CV, you will have to explain GA structure to your delegates and assign roles. I will briefly go through it, as most of you already know it. GA itself consists of several stages. It's reading the OCs when one person reads the operative clauses of your resolution from the podium. Then these are points of information when delegates can clarify some things that they don't understand about your resolutions. It can be regarding shortenings, names of people, if those are not indicated in the footnotes, but usually there are no points of information. Next is the defense speech, which is delivered by one person from the podium. It lasts for 3 minutes. In the defense speech, your delegate is supposed to outline the strong points in your resolution and explain why your resolution solves the problem which is outlined in the topic. The next stage is a text speech, which is delivered by a person from another committee from the podium. It lasts for 3 minutes, and it can be done by several people because if, for example, one person uses 1 minute, the other 2 minutes can be given to another person. The next stage is response to a text speech, which is delivered by one person from the seat, and basically your delegate answers the text speech. And next stage is rounds of debates. It's done from the seats, and the number of rounds of debates differs from session to session. Usually there are 3 rounds, and you need to choose 3 people who will be answering round by round. The next stage is sum-up speech, which is usually done by 1 or 2 people from the podium, and it also lasts 3 minutes. Why 1 or 2? Because usually one person answers the last discussion round, and one person delivers the sum-up speech itself. And the last stage is voting, when other delegates vote in favor or against your resolution, and you know if your resolution has passed or not. Also, I want to give you some information about the placards, because chairs usually face this thing that they don't know where to use which placard. So you will have 4 placards during GA. It's the placard with the name of your committee, which you raise each time when you want to say something, and you also raise it with other placards. The other placard is point of information. I already explained about points of information. Point of order, when you hear that the board made some mistake in the sequence of the stages of GA, or you just see some mistake in the actions of the board, you raise a point of order. And there is also a direct response. This placard is used during rounds of debates, and its reason if your delegate has a point which relates to the very last point in the discussion. You can divide roles in different ways. The first way is simply assigning those roles yourself based on your observations during committee work. The other way is just letting the delegates to divide these roles themselves. It works sometimes, but if you see that your committee is not friendly enough, it's better not to do it. And you can also use blind voting. You just ask, like for example, you ask who wants to make a defense speech. You have 3 people raising their hands, then everyone closes their eyes. And you ask who wants Mary to deliver a defense speech. People raise their hands, and then you just see how many people vote for each person and choose the one who got the most votes or the one that you like most, because like they're sitting with closed eyes anyway. Uh, but sometimes blind voting doesn't work because in EYP we don't vote, and some delegates know it and some delegates can complain about that. Lastly, I want to tell you a bit about energy management in your committee, which is very important during committee work. During committee work, you will notice how your delegates slowly get tired of everything and just want to go home instead of discussing all these problems. To avoid this, there are some tips. So first of all, you need to inform your delegates about agenda. Write a committee work plan with lunches and coffee breaks on the flip chart and hang it on the wall. It's much easier to work if you know the plan. Make sure that you have enough fresh air in the room. You can open windows if you need. Make sure that you have enough fresh water, preferably without bubbles, and you need to regularly make your delegates drink it. Make sure that you have enough light. In the evening, you're welcome to switch on the lights. Make sure that you have enough energizers. When you see that your delegates are slowly getting tired, you can make some energizers or or ask the member of media team to do it. An effective method is also switching seats. And it also makes your delegates think from the other perspective, which is proved by psychologists. And if you have like very problematic delegate who is like dying, you can offer him or her to go and have a cup of coffee, and in a worst case you can also make him or her have a power nap. Of course, it's a bad example, and you need to explain to him or her afterwards that this behavior is unacceptable, but it's still better to send him or her away than have a sleeping delegate in the room. Well, basically that's it. This might all seem to be very logical and clear, but chairs tend to forget about these rules and at some point understand that they have a sleeping committee, completely unable to generate new ideas. So don't forget about energy level, set up your priorities, and rock the session that you're about to chair. That's it for this module. I hope that you will make much use of it. Thank you for listening and see you soon.